Welcome back to Charette Theory, your trusted space for exploring the beautiful intersection of thoughtful design and meaningful living. Today, we're about to dive deep into a design journey unlike any other, a journey that marries the timeless elegance of neoclassical design with the fresh, vibrant energy of spring. It's a fusion that might seem unexpected at first: neoclassical, with its grandiose architectural elements and stately charm, paired with the light, airy, and rejuvenating spirit of a new season. But when blended skillfully, it creates a living room that feels at once majestic and warmly inviting. Welcome to the ultimate neoclassical spring refresh. Let's begin. Imagine stepping into a room that reflects centuries of artistic mastery, symmetry, balance, and refined details that whisper stories of ancient Greece and Rome. Picture the stately columns, the soft curves of fluted legs on finely carved furniture, and the gilded touches that shimmer softly in the light. This is neoclassical design. A style that has endured because it embodies principles of harmony, proportion, and understated luxury. But as beautiful as it is, neoclassical interiors can sometimes feel a bit formal or heavy, especially after a long winter. That's where the magic of spring comes in. Spring is the season of awakening, the earth softens from winter's grip, buds bloom, and the world feels lighter, brighter, more hopeful. It's a time of fresh starts and new possibilities. Bringing this lightness into your neoclassical living room isn't about stripping away its elegance, but rather about breathing new life into it. It's about layering softness over structure, infusing warmth into formality, and inviting the outside world in through fresh colors, textures, and natural elements. As you watch this video, envision the gentle wash of pastel blues that echo the endless spring sky, the soft blush pinks reminiscent of cherry blossoms, and the delicate mint greens that mirror freshly sprouted leaves. These colors don't just decorate the room. They invite a mood of calm renewal, a serene escape from the hustle of everyday life. But it's more than just color. Think about the feel of cool linen curtains billowing softly in the breeze, or the subtle sparkle of a crystal chandelier catching the afternoon sun. Imagine fresh tulips and peonies arranged in classical urns, their fragrance mingling with the warmth of gold and brass accents that gleam with a quiet opulence. Picture plush velvet throws in light hues draped gracefully over tufted sofas, creating a perfect balance between comfort and sophistication. This is the living room of spring, an elegant sanctuary where the grace of the past meets the promise of the present. It's a space that honors tradition while celebrating life's seasonal rhythms, inviting you and your guests to relax, connect, and be inspired. Whether you're completely redesigning your space or simply seeking seasonal updates that enhance your existing neoclassical decor, this guide will provide detailed, actionable tips and thoughtful inspiration. From choosing a harmonious color palette and selecting luxurious yet breathable fabrics, to arranging floral displays that echo classical artistry, and layering in lighting that feels both radiant and intimate, you'll find everything you need to craft a living room that is as timeless as it is fresh. So, prepare to immerse yourself in the artistry of neoclassical design as it dances with the gentle joys of spring. Let's uncover how to transform your living room into a haven of elegance, light, and renewal, a place where every detail tells a story of beauty and balance, and every corner invites you to pause and savor the moment. When it comes to transforming your living room for spring within the elegant framework of neoclassical design, the color palette you choose sets the entire tone. It's not just about picking pretty shades, it's about crafting an atmosphere that feels both refined and rejuvenated, where every hue carries meaning and emotion. Soft pastels, pale blue, blush pink, mint green. Let's begin with the soft pastels, those delicate colors that evoke the gentlest moments of springtime. Imagine the pale blue of a clear morning sky just as dawn breaks, its cool calmness washing over the room and inviting a serene mindset. This color can be subtly introduced on a statement wall or through plush upholstery, creating a backdrop that feels expansive yet intimate. Then there's blush pink, the color of the first cherry blossoms or the softest petals of a rose. It brings warmth and romance without overwhelming the senses. When used on cushions, throws, or decorative accents, blush pink offers a tender contrast to the more structured elements of neoclassical design, softening sharp lines and infusing a touch of feminine grace. Next, the fresh vibrancy of mint green conjures images of newly sprouted leaves and fresh herbs, symbolizing growth and renewal. Mint pairs beautifully with the deeper tones of classical wood furniture, such as rich walnut or mahogany, bridging nature and craftsmanship seamlessly. It's a color that breathes energy into the room while maintaining subtlety and elegance. Light neutrals, ivory, beige, taupe. Alongside these pastels, we lean on light neutrals, ivory, beige, and taupe to create balance and timelessness. Think of ivory walls that reflect natural light softly, making your space feel open and welcoming. Beige sofas and armchairs provide a warm yet neutral foundation that anchors the pastels, preventing them from drifting into overly whimsical territory. Taupe accents, perhaps in area rugs or drapery, lend depth and sophistication, gently grounding the lighter hues without diminishing their freshness. Gold or brass accents. Now, to truly capture the spirit of neoclassical luxury, nothing complements these colors better than gold or brass accents. These metallic finishes add a subtle shimmer and warmth, evoking the gilded interiors of classical estates and palaces. Whether it's the delicate frame of a mirror, the gleam of a brass lamp base, or the intricate detailing on side tables, gold tones uplift the palette and imbue the room with an unmistakable aura of grandeur. The interplay of these colors, soft pastels layered over a foundation of neutrals, enriched by glowing metallics, creates a sophisticated harmony. It's a visual symphony that resonates with both tradition and spring's promise of new beginnings. As you plan your palette, consider the flow of color throughout the room. Repeat key tones in upholstery, artwork, and accessories to create a cohesive and inviting space. This thoughtful layering of color not only pleases the eye but also helps weave a narrative of elegance and renewal, turning your living room into a timeless yet lively sanctuary. Bringing fresh flowers and natural elements into your living room is one of the most beautiful ways to celebrate spring, especially when paired with neoclassical elegance. These arrangements are not just decor, they become living art that breathes vitality and movement into your space. Fresh tulips, peonies, or roses in classic vases. Nothing captures the essence of spring quite like fresh flowers. Tulips, with their clean, architectural shapes, offer a minimalist yet striking presence. They can be arranged simply in a crystal or porcelain vase with classical lines to highlight their natural beauty. Peonies, on the other hand, bring softness and volume. Their lush blooms add a romantic, almost painterly quality that perfectly complements the refined textures of neoclassical upholstery and drapery. Peonies in pastel shades like soft pink or white work wonderfully to echo the room's palette. Roses are timeless, embodying romance and grace, making them an ideal floral choice for this style. Choose delicate blush or cream-colored roses and display them in Greco-Roman-inspired vases or fluted ceramic vessels to anchor their presence in the room's classical story. Ornate urns or ceramic vessels with seasonal branches. For a grander statement, ornate urns evoke the majesty of ancient classical design. These vessels can be filled with seasonal branches like cherry blossoms, dogwood, or pussy willow. The height and organic movement of the branches create a dynamic focal point that brings spring's energy into the room while maintaining a strong architectural presence. Positioning these urns in entryways, beside mantels, or near windows emphasizes vertical lines and enhances the spatial rhythm typical of neoclassical interiors. Placement ideas: coffee tables, side tables, mantels. Placement is crucial to creating balance and harmony. A symmetrical bouquet on the mantel acts as a natural centerpiece, drawing eyes upward and framing architectural features like moldings or fireplaces. A single sculptural branch on a side table introduces elegance without crowding. On the coffee table, clusters of small vases or bowls with blooms arranged in odd numbers create visual interest and invite interaction. Remember, balance is the soul of neoclassical design. Vary heights and groupings while keeping the arrangement feeling light and fresh. As the seasons shift, so should the textures in your home. In a neoclassical living room, fabric plays an essential role in defining mood and movement. For spring, it's all about lightness, breathability, and elegance, subtle touches that speak to comfort without compromising on sophistication. Switch to lighter curtains or sheers, e.g., linen, cotton voile. Spring invites us to open our homes to the sun. One of the simplest yet most impactful ways to usher in the season is by replacing heavy, winter-weight drapes with light, flowing sheers. Fabrics like linen or cotton voile not only allow sunlight to softly diffuse through the room, but they also add a romantic fluidity that complements the symmetry of neoclassical design. Choose soft neutrals or gentle pastels to match your color palette. Ivory, warm white, or bare leather blush tones will echo classical walls while keeping the room feeling open and airy. Hang curtains just above the window frame and allow them to puddle slightly on the floor for that graceful, old-world elegance. Introduce spring-toned throw pillows with classical motifs. Throw pillows are a subtle but effective way to infuse seasonal style. For spring, select pillows in hues that reflect your updated palette, perhaps a dusty rose, dove grey, or muted seafoam. But color isn't everything. Focus on patterns and textures that reference neoclassical design, Greek key borders, laurel wreaths, or embroidered floral medallions. A silk or linen blend with a light shimmer can echo the refined materials of classical interiors while remaining breathable for the warmer months. Layering a few pillows in various shapes and fabrics, perhaps a velvet bolster with a linen square, adds interest and richness without overloading the space. Use soft, breathable throws in luxurious materials like cashmere or light velvet. Even as the air warms, there's still something comforting about a throw draped over a chair or chaise lounge. Spring is the time to trade in heavy wool for cashmere, light velvet, or fine cotton. These materials offer just enough weight for cooler evenings while keeping the look fresh and inviting. Choose colors that harmonize with your spring palette, but don't be afraid to introduce a slight contrast, a pale blue throw on a cream settee, or a sage green velvet draped over a taupe armchair. Drape throws loosely for a relaxed, lived-in look that feels elegant, not overly staged. Together, these fabric updates create a tactile narrative for spring, soft to the touch, open to the light, and deeply connected to the refined roots of neoclassical decor. art is a vital part of neoclassical interiors. It reflects a sense of culture, history, and permanence. But when spring arrives, even timeless art can take on new meaning. This season is an opportunity to reinterpret the classics, blending traditional themes with a sense of lightness, softness, and rebirth. With the right choices, your walls can become a celebration of both ancient grandeur and seasonal renewal. Art prints with mythological or neoclassical themes in pastel tones. Neoclassical design often embraces themes from antiquity, gods, goddesses, and mythological scenes rendered in sculpture or canvas. For spring, seek out reproductions of classical artworks or modern interpretations that use a lighter palette. Imagine Venus rising not in stark contrast, but in gentle shades of peach and sky blue, or a sketch of Apollo done in charcoal and framed by watercolor washes. You don't need an original oil painting to make a statement. High-quality prints with soft tones and classical subjects can feel just as impactful. Whether it's a stylized bust, a pastoral landscape, or a minimalist line drawing inspired by ancient friezes, let each piece carry a sense of calm and curiosity. Vintage-inspired frames in gold or whitewash finish. The frame is as important as the art it holds, especially in neoclassical spaces, where ornamentation and structure go hand in hand. Look for gilded gold frames that bring a touch of formality, or whitewashed wood for a more relaxed, weathered effect. Both options work beautifully with pastel art and classical themes. A well-framed print or painting can become a visual anchor in the room. Try layering a few smaller works on a console table beneath a large mirror or hanging one oversized piece in a central location to draw the eye. Balance is key. Groupings should be symmetrical or arranged to echo the room's architectural proportions. Seasonal wall accents like floral medallions or botanical prints. In addition to framed art, consider subtle wall decor that brings spring into the room through texture and pattern. Floral plaster medallions, for example, add an architectural element that feels rooted in tradition but freshened by seasonal motifs. You can place them as a wall centerpiece or even as sculptural objects on a shelf. Botanical illustrations, in the style of 18th or 19th century scientific prints, are another perfect fit. Their fine detailing and subdued color palettes nod to classical drawing while reinforcing the spring theme. A grid of 4 or 6 prints in matching frames adds visual rhythm and refinement. And for those who love something unexpected, even a small antique tapestry featuring a pastoral spring scene can work beautifully in a neoclassical room, especially when displayed with restraint. By curating your walls with care, honoring classical forms while embracing seasonal lightness, you create a space that feels storied, elegant, and alive with the spirit of spring. In neoclassical interiors, furniture is not just functional, it's sculptural. It commands attention through proportion, detail, and balance. Spring offers the perfect moment to spotlight these pieces, enhancing their beauty with delicate seasonal styling that doesn't compete, but complements. With thoughtful additions and intentional placement, you can make your neoclassical furniture feel lighter, fresher, and more alive than ever. Highlight neoclassical furniture, fluted legs, tufted sofas, carved wood details. Begin by identifying the stars of your space. Perhaps it's a tufted velvet sofa with deep, classical contours, or a carved wood settee with fluted legs and rolled arms. These are heirloom-style pieces, timeless in their construction and graceful in silhouette. Spring isn't about hiding or covering them, it's about enhancing their presence through careful contrast. Let the craftsmanship speak for itself by keeping the surrounding area uncluttered. If your sofa or chairs have wooden frames, consider polishing them gently to bring out their luster in natural spring light. Reupholster or accent with seasonal fabrics if you're ready for a change. Soft linens, velvets in muted pastels, or creamy off-whites breathe new life into classic forms. Pair with spring accessories like pastel cushions or glass decor items. When it comes to styling these foundational pieces, the goal is subtle transformation. Add pastel-colored cushions in hues like duck egg blue, pale lavender, or champagne rose. The lightness of these tones offers a visual contrast against deeper or more traditional upholstery. Glass decor items are especially powerful in spring. They catch the sunlight, reflect ambient color, and bring a sense of transparency and movement. A blown glass vase, a delicate cloche, or a crystal dish placed on a side table or console can be all you need. Look for gentle curves, vintage silhouettes, or cut glass details that echo classical forms in a more playful way. Add symmetry in layout for classical balance. Neoclassical interiors are built on principles of order, harmony, and proportion. Spring doesn't disrupt that, it enhances it with flow and grace. Take the opportunity to revisit your layout and reintroduce balance where needed. This might mean flanking your fireplace with matching chairs, centering a coffee table perfectly between two sofas, or creating mirrored decor arrangements on either end of a console. Even your bookshelf styling can reflect symmetry, alternate objects in balanced pairs, or repeat motifs across shelves to calm the eye. But symmetry doesn't have to mean stiffness. Introduce variation within that framework, a pair of urns with different branches, or two frames with different artworks in the same tonal family. This approach preserves neoclassical order while inviting organic spring energy into the room. Ultimately, the styling of furniture in spring is about respecting the classical foundation while gently layering in elements of softness, fluidity, and seasonality. It's a quiet transformation, one that whispers of fresh air and longer days, rather than shouting with trendiness. Understatement, after all, is the highest form of elegance. light is one of the most transformative forces in any space. In neoclassical interiors, it plays a crucial role, not only in illuminating architectural beauty but in highlighting craftsmanship, creating mood, and revealing depth. Spring gives us longer, brighter days, and it's the perfect time to reimagine how light, both natural and artificial, shapes the atmosphere of your living room. By introducing seasonal touches to your lighting choices, you invite warmth, clarity, and refinement into every corner. Use crystal or antique brass chandeliers. Start from the top, with a statement chandelier that becomes the crown of the room. A crystal chandelier reflects light like dew drops on a spring morning, adding sparkle and dimension without overwhelming the space. The play of sunlight through cut glass during daytime hours creates dynamic, shifting patterns, while the soft evening glow adds romance and formality. Alternatively, antique brass fixtures bring a quieter kind of elegance. Their patinated finish adds warmth and historical texture, especially when paired with classical silhouettes, urn shapes, swan neck arms, or Greco-Roman motifs. The gold-toned metal also complements soft spring hues, making it an ideal bridge between the traditional and the seasonal. Whether you choose opulence or restraint, your ceiling fixture should serve as both illumination and ornament, an anchor that reflects the room's balance of grandeur and freshness. Add table lamps with light-colored shades for a soft glow. Once the central fixture is in place, turn to table lamps to introduce intimacy and layered lighting. These smaller light sources cast a gentler glow, perfect for early mornings, golden afternoons, or quiet spring evenings. Select lamps with ceramic or glass bases, perhaps in celadon green, ivory, or soft blush. Pair them with light-colored linen or silk shades to diffuse light naturally and subtly. The base can be sculptural, reminiscent of classical urns, fluted columns, or rounded amphorae, while the shade offers simplicity to maintain balance. Position your lamps thoughtfully, on side tables, consoles, or bookcases. Use them to anchor symmetrical arrangements, highlight architectural niches, or define cozy reading corners. When layered properly, this kind of lighting adds atmosphere without relying solely on overhead fixtures. Let natural light shine, clean windows, pull back curtains. Spring is the season when natural light truly shines. Take advantage of it by creating unobstructed paths for sunlight to enter and dance across your room's surfaces. Begin with a thorough cleaning of your windows, inside and out. Sparkling glass maximizes the amount of light that filters through and elevates the entire ambience of the space. Switch out heavy winter drapes for light, sheer curtains made from linen, voile, or cotton blends. Let them flow gently with the breeze. Use elegant tiebacks or decorative tassels to gather them during the day, revealing the view outside and creating a sense of connection with the season. You can even enhance the effect by placing a mirror opposite your brightest window. It will reflect natural light deeper into the room, increasing brightness and making the space feel larger, lighter, and more open. In neoclassical design, light is never just functional, it's theatrical. It highlights symmetry, flatters textures, and enhances the mood of the room. With spring as your backdrop, let your lighting become a celebration of softness and serenity, where every ray and reflection adds to the room's timeless charm. beauty of neoclassical design lies in its restraint, but that doesn't mean it lacks personality or warmth, especially in spring. In fact, one of the most enjoyable parts of seasonal decorating is the introduction of thoughtful accessories that reflect both the elegance of the past and the freshness of the present moment. With just a few curated pieces, you can create moments of interest, intimacy, and even whimsy without ever disturbing the room's classical balance. Marble or plaster busts with fresh flower crowns. Let's start with a timeless icon, the classical bust. Whether it's a reproduction of a Roman philosopher, a Greek goddess, or simply a sculptural head in white plaster or veined marble, this piece carries immediate gravitas. It connects your living room to the ideals of antiquity, order, beauty, contemplation. Now, soften that sense of solemnity with a playful, seasonal twist, a fresh flower crown. Choose delicate spring blooms. Ranunculus, baby's breath, lavender, or miniature roses. The floral crown brings a sense of joy, irreverence, and renewal to the statue, creating a beautiful dialogue between the eternal and the ephemeral. Place your bust on a pedestal, a stack of books, or a console where it can be admired as both art and a celebration of spring. The juxtaposition feels fresh, curated, and deeply charming. Candle holders in gold or antique silver with spring-scented candles. Candles have long played a role in creating ambience, but in a neoclassical setting, they also serve as historical references, evoking the glow of candelabras in grand salons. For spring, update this ritual with gilded candle holders, silver-plated stands, or bronze sconces that reflect classical shapes and ornamental flourishes. Opt for spring-inspired scents like lilac, neroli, rose, or citrus blossom. These natural aromas not only freshen the room but create an olfactory connection to the season. Choose soy or beeswax candles for a cleaner burn, and display them in varying heights to add vertical rhythm to mantels, sideboards, or tray arrangements. By night, the flicker of these candles will dance along carved wood, polished metal, and pastel upholstery, adding an almost poetic softness to the structured elegance of the space. Decorative trays with seasonal books, florals, and classical figurines. One of the easiest ways to create a styled moment is through a decorative tray. Choose one in marble, brass, or antiqued mirror for a luxe base. Then build a small vignette, nothing too crowded, with seasonal coffee table books, perhaps about garden design, botanical illustration, or classical art, a small bud vase with fresh spring blooms, and a miniature classical figurine or cameo box. These trays work beautifully on coffee tables, ottomans, or console surfaces. They help contain and define your deco elements while offering flexibility. You can change out florals, rotate books, or swap figurines as the season progresses. The key is restraint. Every item should feel intentional. Let your accessories breathe. Let light touch them. Let the space between them serve as part of the composition. That negative space is as essential to neoclassical design as the decor itself. And that brings us to the close of our journey through neoclassical spring living room styling, where timeless elegance meets the rejuvenating spirit of the season. At Charette Theory, we believe that thoughtful design is about more than just furniture or color, it's about how your home makes you feel. And this spring, we invite you to create a space that feels both grounded and uplifted, serene yet vibrant, anchored in history but alive with the moment. By blending classical symmetry, soft pastels, refined materials, and natural light, your living room can become a true reflection of renewal. The floral arrangements on your mantel aren't just decorative, they're reminders of growth. The gentle folds of sheer linen curtains don't just soften the light, they transform it. And the gentle gleam of a gold-framed mirror doesn't just echo tradition, it welcomes in a new season of beauty. You don't need to overhaul everything to feel this transformation. Often, the smallest details. A flower crown on a marble bust, a bowl of spring citrus on a sideboard, a flickering candle with a scent that reminds you of gardens in bloom, are what breathe the most life into a room. It's these curated, intentional touches that turn a house into a sanctuary. We hope this guide has inspired you to see your space through a new lens this season, to appreciate the elegance that already exists and to add just enough freshness to make it feel brand new. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who are drawn to intentional design and classical beauty. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. What part of your living room are you most excited to refresh this spring? What neoclassical elements speak to your personal style? Until next time, thank you for watching Charette Theory. Stay inspired, stay intentional, and let grace, light, and seasonality guide your design.